Sure. Per your guys' request at the last meeting, I put together a letter to the gas company, which is Enterprise Products, and their local office is located out in Greensburg. Sent them a certified letter alerting them of the issue, the township's concerns regarding safety and potential damage to private and public property. Uh, Eventually, it got into the hands of the regional supervisor out there, and he gave me a call. He said that they're going to be addressing it, and he lined up a contractor to come fix it. I know that since then I haven't heard anything. I shot an email over to the contact over there, and he said that he's going to be helming this going forward and to just contact him regarding it. So he said that they do have a contractor, and I just mentioned that make sure you keep the township up to date with the progress, any scheduling, so the township can be sure to alert nearby residents, drive safe on the road during this time. And at that point, I introduced him to Terry via email, so she could just follow up with him and track it for you guys.
Thank you for the persistence, Sean, of you, Terry, Bobby, and Rick, and Dave. You guys were instrumental.
Hopefully they dig it up.
And yeah, look, from the letter I read, they're on it. So excellent work. Thank you so much. It saved the township money. Thank you again to all of you. Any questions or thoughts on that item? Okay, 7, discuss plugged pipe under Route 88.
So I went out and met with representatives from PennDOT and Brian McCroskey
With Scarmazy.
from Scarmazy. So just basically this pipe issue is being addressed, it is being worked on. PennDOT and Brian are going to keep me in the loop because it is a state road, because the issue of unplugging the pipe is going to take some maintenance on PennDOT's part. They're coordinating to get that done. I'm going to be kept in the loop, and hopefully that'll be resolved, and very soon I'll be able to report that and check that off.
Again, another kudos for the persistence and keeping on it and getting these things off our list. Thank you so much, everybody.
Facebook, whatever.
Updates on Facebook. Yep, that's a good
At
idea.
least state's looking at it.
8, discuss EMS.
Yes, so, sorry, notes. The EMS, I'm still in conversation with several EMS agencies. Don't have a report for you yet because they're talking with their boards and coming back to me. So, just wanted to keep it on the agenda so everyone knows it's still being worked on, still being looked at, still an active project.
Have we received all right to know requests back on donations, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, so the ones.
There was one that I have not gotten back, but they did ask for an extension.
Okay, so I re-looked at that today because I think the last time it was sent was pretty close to our last meeting, and I guess I missed it. I didn't even know we had a chart. I missed that. I looked at the individual right to knows, but from my observation of that chart, Union Township was the third highest donor out of the 9 communities. Is that correct?
Yes.
The 4th.
No, Jefferson Hills was first, Elizabeth was second, and Union was third.
Oh, my bad. So,
Yeah, we were
I'll
third.
stop talking. Not my wheelhouse.
I did see a comment on Facebook about if we stick with serums, that putting a I don't know who put it on Facebook. I put a $5 charge on all the residents to pay for serums.
Can I correct you?
Yes.
It was me. I said,
I seen it.
who would be against pitching in the $5?
I paid
That's all I said.
Okay, time out, excuse me. So,
That's all I said.
I want you
Yeah.
to continue.
Yeah.
And if you could note for the record the resident who.
Denise Burgley Puglisi.
Okay,
Jefferson Hills.
sorry,
There's a I guess it's not a fundraiser, it's a
membership?
yes, membership. Couldn't get that word out. A membership that I pay $70 a year to. It's a family membership, and in our residents, less than 14% of our residents subscribe to that. And I think that, you know, think about it, Serums would get $70 for every household. How much money they would be getting? They wouldn't be asking for $30,000 because you know. Luckily, I've had to use it and it's great. I'll pay $70 every year. But if we look at it in 2023, I think we need to look at putting something on or doing some kind of a push to get the residents to, whether it's a single, you could do it different ways. You could do it a family or a single, and it's different, it's priced differently. And talking to the guys from Serums and finding out that less than 14% of our residents do that, that's pretty bad.
We do it here.
What's that?
I get billed $350 as a subscription rate for the township here.
For the staff.
I do a check
never
every
got
year.
anything in the mail.
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, we get something every year to mail, and we just,
We've never gotten anything.
The graph that you did, the only problem that I had with the graph is, on Union Township's, donations, you included the 2022, money that we gave them, but you only included 2022 for Union Township, not for any of the other communities. Also, I had reached out to, Mr. Pasco, because I was a little confused, because I know some people that are on boards in other communities, and their numbers that they were telling me weren't anything similar to these numbers. So I reached out and I asked, is it possible the word donation versus contribution could be the reason for the different numbers? So there are some of these communities that actually do it as a tax, the payroll tax, $1 a week out of their employees. So they're not calling it a donation, they're calling it a tax. I did forward to Roberta and Terry some copies of some checks and some things that these other communities gave Serums, so that this could be maybe reworked. And I guess she can.
So
I forwarded the Doug Pasco conversation.
yeah, I only got, and I'm sorry, I didn't contact you about this prior. I was busy getting ready for the meeting. But what you sent me is what you sent to Doug and our chart, but I didn't get any attachments. You might not have forwarded the attachments.
Maybe I'll do it now.
Okay.
So there's copies of checks from all the
Yeah, I didn't
communities
get.
in
We
there,
didn't get. It was
and
literally
they are
just.
quite a bit different than the chart.
It was just the PDF of the chart, and so we thought that you were just telling us that you reached out. We didn't know you got a response.
Okay. Yeah, I think some of the confusion is some of them are calling it a donation. They're calling it a contribution. Some of them charge it as a tax out of the, instead of having the $10 a year that goes to schools, they went up to the $56 a year or whatever, and they use that as an emergency service tax.
Well, it'd be an
So it's-
interesting. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Interesting strategy for us to look into if that's something we're interested in, and I appreciate.
I would
The documents.
like to know that information, like if
Yeah.
there's, the other municipalities are taxing their residents, that's
Well,
totally different, in my opinion, than a donation contribution, but I would like to know that, so to help us plan. And I hate to suggest this, but is it possible that we do another right to know that encompasses contribution, donation, tax assessment, so we can find out how these other communities are doing this?
We do charge that tax. I don't know what we do with it, but that tax is already charged here. But I don't know what
LST, local service.
local service tax. They use their local service tax for their ambulance service. I don't know what we do with ours, but it's supposed to go to local services.
what's the percentage that we charge?
It's a flat rate. Most places are $53, the city of Pittsburgh was $100.
What, do we have that here?
Yes.
Mhm.
We moved up from the
Any
$10 a year.
employer, if you, wherever you work.
Yeah.
That money is taken out, that goes to that area.
Oh,
So I work over in Munhall, my money stays with Munhall.
Yeah.
And it's to be used for services like that.
And I know other municipalities have in their, in most of the residents don't even know, there's an emergency tax. I think Lenny, you, isn't it Pleasant Hills that has that?
Yeah, Jefferson Hills, I believe, has it too.
Yeah.
I can't speak for them. But
That's why they have $500,000 $100,000 fire trucks and.
Right.
Yeah.
And they split that money up between the EMS and the fire department.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
which, you know, that's what it's coming to in all the communities, but, you
Yeah.
know, we're a little behind times, but
Yeah.
might be something to look at.
It would help you guys out.
Right, most definitely.
I just wanna comment also that the local service tax is not just, to my knowledge, is not just for EMS,
Right.
it also goes to our,
Vehicle services.
yeah, so just wanted to clarify there. And additionally, I know that, in our, I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, new numbers and new data that we have and, you know, updating our chart, but I do know that some of the municipalities, it wasn't their way that they collected the tax then was a donation to, and was a contribution to the,
yes.
so it did show up in some of the municipalities, although it might not have shown up in all the municipalities, so we'll certainly update that, and we can do new right to knows.
I'm sorry for the extra work, but I really think we should have clear information, not your fault, but when we talk about LST and the 511 taxes, all of those taxes, to my knowledge, we'd have to check with Frank Palermo, go back into the general fund. And, when we are paying any type of donation contribution, I think it's all coming from a pool, you know, unless we've specifically budgeted. And even if we budgeted for it, it's still coming from revenue earned from taxes. So, it's like a circular thing. It's still money we have to spend. But, I think it's good points, and I think if we can get some more information, so we can really have that. We have some time anyway, because we're still waiting for other boards and some more information to trickle in. Bobby, I'm sorry to put more work on you on that, but do you think you could clarify with another right to know?
The email that I sent you does have the canceled checks with it, so you'll see all the actual and the way that they got it. I just reached out to the EMS service rather than writing all the right to knows, and they sent me back copies of all the checks.
I got the right PDF now.
Okay.
Okay, great, wonderful. So if everybody's okay, we can move on to Davison Avenue, number 9.